And just like that, I'm back. Welcome back to Generation X Nation. I've been gone for a minute, taking a little break off of this YouTube stuff. I didn't like what I was seeing out here in these YouTube streets, and I'm just gonna tell you, child, y'all be black women, black YouTubers. We got to do better. All of this fighting and back and forth and striking channels, putting people channels down. I don't have a lot to say about it because at the end of the day, I have a very small channel with I don't even have 300 followers, but I would love to give it up to 300 followers. So please, if you listen to my videos, just subscribe, put in a comment, hit a like button. I promise I'll get back to you. I don't do this for money. I am okay as far as funds. I don't ask for anything, donations. I just really enjoy doing commentary. Maybe it's a hidden talent I already always had and just didn't know. Okay, so do that for me, please. I do my commentary based on what I see and you give me off the screen week to week. I don't have a dog in this fight, as I always say. I may have some secret favorites, but I try not to express them when I'm giving commentary. I usually watch the shows first, and then I absorb them, I record them, I go back and watch them, then I give my commentary. And after I do that, then I may look at other people's channels. I try not to steal anybody's information or anything like that. And I know people are accused of taking people's formats or stealing their information, stealing pictures. You guys are really, and I'm just saying this, and please don't come after me, but I just don't like the bickering and the fighting. It is, I don't know how many billions of people, I forget the census, billions of people in this world. Everybody follows a YouTube channel that they like, that are their favorites. There's plenty of audience out there you can grab. So it doesn't have to just be a certain amount of people, okay? We have 300 plus million people living in the US alone. So if I only get 1,000 subscribers, I'm cool with that. All of y'all are making money out here. All of y'all are doing good. If you don't like somebody's channel, just move on. I don't get to arguing and fighting with people you really don't know personally. So today I wore my Be Kind shirt because I just want people to be kind. Let's enjoy life. Let's have fun. I know I'm late to the party on YouTube, but this bickering stuff, it just hits me a certain way because I am a Gen Xer, meaning I am Generation X. Yes, I am over 50 years old. I'm not going to tell you my exact ages now, but I am over 50. I see life differently. I get it. But we don't have to play the crabs in the barrel game. We don't have to fight with each other all the time. It's always our people. It's always us doing it. I don't see the other YouTube channels going after each other, striking each other channel, trying to get each other down, fighting each other. And if you don't like my commentary, fine. Please don't leave me any negative comments because I don't respond to a lot of negativity. I try to be nice when I respond because at the end of the day, it don't cost nothing to be kind. It don't. And for the most of us, whatever we say here or whatever you say back to me ain't going to affect how I live and what I do in life. And I just want to get this public service announcement out there. I don't like it as a subscriber and a viewer to other people's channels that I respect and admire and have been watching for years. Some of y'all channels I've been watching for years. And, I just don't like seeing that. I need us to do better and uplift each other. We got enough people out here in this world, and I'm speaking specifically to some of these black YouTubers on both sides, male, female, whatever the case may be. There's so much going out in this world right now where they're trying to divide us, trying to treat us like crap, constantly taking things away from us that we don't have to do it to each other. There's enough people out there doing it to us already. Okay, that's just my public service announcement. I just want everybody, and I know I ain't Rodney King, can we all just get along? But at least be respectful. If you don't like a person, get off of their channel. There's 300 million people out here. I'm not even complaining about the little 200 people that follow me and a few people that like my videos. I'm cool with that. Okay, whatever's for me is for me. God already have that set aside, and whatever's for you is for you because God has that set aside for you too. And with that in mind, once again, I am Generation X Nation, meaning I am a Gen Xer. I really appreciate it if you guys would like, subscribe to my channel, share my channel, leave a comment, okay? I'm not trying to hustle you out of anything. I'm not telling you to pick a side. Once again, my commentary is based on what I see on the screen. And as y'all can see on this thumbnail, we're going to get into Miss Wanda. Whew. Miss Wanda, Miss Wanda. I'm going to say, and I'm going to leave this out there, Miss Wanda definitely did a very good interview with Carlos. I don't know what happened because the interview was supposed to air earlier in the year. But I think with the whole stuff with grooming and Melody quitting the show, they kind of pulled back on it. I think they re-edited it too because she didn't say much about Melody, which I'm thinking it probably was more, and this is just allegedly, and in my opinion, once again on my show, everything is alleged, and in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. The reason I say this is because, let me cut this TV down. I forgot I had my TV on. The reason I say this is because when she went down each cast member, when Carlos asked her about each cast member, and he was saying, what do you think of the person? I'm going to look at my notes real quick. He didn't mention Melody's name, which I find it odd because she is the main cast member. Let's keep it real. She is. And he asked her, what did she think of each person? She did, give like a one-word comment, which I thought was cool. But somewhere in there, I thought it was odd that when he got to the very last person, it was, I believe, Marceau. I think she went to Martell and then Marceau, but she never mentioned Melody. So I'm thinking maybe that was edited out, or maybe he never asked her about Melody. I don't know. Maybe at that time he knew she was quitting the show, so he didn't bother to say her name. But I found it kind of odd. Her name was not mentioned. So well, let's just talk about the interview itself. The first thing we're gonna talk about. Oh, hold on a second. I need to put my microphone on because I didn't put it on. And I know I'm getting old. I don't know if y'all can hear me really well without the microphone, but I do like to keep it on to make sure the volume and stuff is pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and click this real quick. Y'all seeing me doing stuff in real time for a change because most of the stuff is already, when I do videos, I already have it set up to go. The first person he asked, he said, hey, Miss Wanda. He kind of introduced her. She did look like Miss Wanda. She had a regular freeze up in her head. Miss Wanda loves her 1990 hairdo, and I get it. It's, hold on a second. Let me fix this mic. I get it. That's Miss Wanda. So go ahead, Miss Wanda. Stay in, do what's best for you. I guess that's what they say. And y'all may be hearing some crazy stuff because I'm trying to fix my microphone. Okay. So I think my microphone's a little fixed now. Let me fix my hair a little bit. So the microphone is fixed. So what he did, he went into, of course, he introduced her, said Wanda was one of his favorite people. Who knew? And I'm going to be honest, Wanda used to be one of my favorites too when I started watching that show. I thought Wanda was everything. She was funny. She brought the comedy that was needed. She brought a little bit of some drama here and there, but she didn't go overboard initially. But we will get to when I feel Wanda did start going overboard and the tides kind of changed on her. He asked her about Kim. She said Kimmy was wild, which we all knew. Kimmy does give us a wild side, even though she sits back. I always say throw the rock, hide her hand, kind of like Tisha does. But Kimmy, she listed her as wild, and they did go over some scenes where Wanda and Kimmy were going back to back. Maurice, she said every time, his name is mentioned, she just thinks lawyer. So what else? I mean, that's pretty much all he brings to the table is a lawyer, but we never see Maurice do anything outside lawyering on the show as far as showing some cases, working some cases. Once again, like I said, cleaning up a credit score, have you a client in there where you either work in their case or clean up their credit score. Because outside of that, I don't really know what Maurice brings to the show. She did talk about Destiny's name. She said Destiny is a sweetheart. Miss Wanda, with everything in me, I need you to show me where Destiny is a sweetheart at. I've never seen Destiny really act like a sweetheart. I'm not saying she's, rowdy or rude, but whenever she came on the scene, it was always attitude to me. I didn't see sweetheart in there. So show us some clips where Destiny is really being a sweetheart. Okay, I mean, real sweetheart. I ain't talking about every now and then she pulls somebody aside and talk to them or Martell, what are you doing? No, I mean really going out of her way to help somebody other than herself. Okay, I've seen other people on the show, Stormy do some things. I've seen, of course, we know Mel always helping people out. I've seen Marceau try to come. I ain't never seen Destiny go out of the way, dig in her pocket, get in her car, pick somebody up. I've never heard anybody ever say on the scene that when they was down and out or going through something personal or having a bad day that Destiny showed up with some flowers and some candy or took them to a spa. I ain't never seen that. Now I've seen Destiny show up to those type of events, but I've never seen where she actually did it herself outside of hosting the game day, which we all seen how that ended. Okay. Uh, she said Stormy was busy. That's reasonable. Stormy is running a company, good or bad or indifferent. If y'all feel about Stormy, whether her company is a success or a failure, she's always trying to get to the next level. So, yeah, I can see Stormy being busy. Um, Martell, she called a liar. Neat. There's nothing else you can say about that. We all know he lies. That's obvious. And then she talked about Marceau being a boss, but she did say her and Marceau was never really good friends. So I don't think she genuinely, I think she respects her son-in-law. She appreciates what he did for her, for Tisha, in the life she's given Tisha. But I don't think she ever really cared for Marceau. And that was pretty much, the way she answered the question. Like she don't really care for Marceau. Now, as far as Marceau's, behavior towards Wanda, I think they matches each other's energy. I don't think Marceau cares for Wanda too much. I don't think Wanda cares for Marceau too much. But I think they have a mutual respect because both of them love Tisha. Then he got into some other stuff where he said he asked Wanda about the 20, the Marceau cheating rumors. Do you think Marceau cheated? And Wanda just said, hey, I think all those men, every man on that show probably has cheated, allegedly. I'm going to keep saying allegedly. But Wanda is correct on one thing. And what I always say, I'm going to give you credit where credit's due. Wanda said, whoever these women are out there that he allegedly cheated on, these 20 women or whatever, they ain't came forward yet. This guy's on a number one rated TV show on OWN. They could have came out to get to some clout like quote unquote Ariane. But nobody's came out yet. And like I said, unless these women are hiding out in a remote village in Africa or India somewhere, where are they? Because the one that Martell and Ariane showed up at, that's a 50-50 chance. I'm not saying it did happen or didn't happen. She just didn't seem credible. There was something about her integrity that didn't sit right with anybody. But she is right on that fact. And I've said it in my previous videos if y'all go watch. If there is a person out there that Maurice and Marceau have slept with, they need to come out the bushes. This show has been going on 10 seasons. They haven't showed up at one, they haven't showed up at all and said, hey, I'm her for just 5 minutes of fame. So either they're paying them off well or they got other things going on in their life that they don't want to be exposed like that. Outside of that, these women don't exist. That's the only thing I can see. Either they paid well or they married and moved on with their life and they don't want no parts of it because of how they're living right now. Or these 20 women don't exist. But like she said, somebody would have came out of these bushes by now and said, hey, I'm her. I want that 5 minutes of fame. Because we've seen it on every show. Why not this show? So I'm kind of with Wanda on that. Again, there's very few times I agree with Wanda, but this time I do. And like I said, this was a really good interview. It made me kind of reminisce on the old Wanda that we enjoyed when she popped on the scene and showed up at Tisha's house with her bag saying, I'm coming to stay. And Marceau had that look on his face and Tisha's like, Mom, I'm so happy to see you. That's the Wanda we like. The one that had the one-liners, that talked country, that we didn't quite understand what she said, but we enjoyed the little cracks and the jokes and the digs she took at Martell. That's the Wanda we like. I don't know why that Wanda no longer exists. Okay? There was a scene where Wanda and Marceau and Tisha were talking in their bedroom, and Wanda busts in as she usually does, and She said, "Oh, I see you wearing your ring now." So it reminded me, fast forward to the last season where Tisha was trying to get Marceau to wear his ring. Apparently, Marceau never wore his ring. And I thought about it. I said, you know what? This Marceau never did wear that ring. I remember that scene, and she was asking him about it. So him not wearing the ring wasn't a something new to Tisha. It was just a topic I guess they wanted to bring in again in season 10, because apparently back there in season 2, 3 he wasn't wearing it either. So I guess that's something Martell don't like doing. He don't like. I mean, not Martell. Marceau doesn't like wearing his rings. Um, that was in 2019. I think that was a date on that show, 2019, 2020ish, and we're in 2004. 2024 and 2025, and he still ain't wearing it, and Tisha still got to ask him about it. I think that was just for the show. Apparently Tisha knows that Marceau doesn't like wearing his ring. Also, they showed some scenes where Wanda was actually taken up for Melody. This is again where we liked Wanda, where she pulled Melody to the side and said, "You know you love Martell. Y'all need to work it out." And there was a few scenes where she pulled Melody to the side and told Martell, "Get the hell away from her. You ain't this or you ain't that." I like that Wanda. Wanda, if you're listening, anybody listening that know Wanda, that's the Wanda we came to enjoy on the show. We really did. We really did. And then later on, I think Wanda started turning dark, and we'll talk about that. And that's when it started going left. Um, After that, Wanda was talking about she don't talk about kids. She don't talk about kids. That's where you draw the line at. Don't talk about kids and things of that nature. She did apologize for saying what she did say about the children on the show. And she apologized to anybody that she heard, anybody that she said anything about, about children. But she did mention she did not like Martell. She did not like Martell. So they went on to Wanda versus Kimmy, Wanda versus, I think, Melody, and Wanda versus Marceau. I think it was something to that effect. But Wanda lost against Kimmy for sure. Kimmy was coming. They showed us some clips, and they went back to showing when Wanda was going at Kimmy. And I forgot Kimmy had that spark in her, because it seemed like the last season or two she toned it down. But she was like, her and Wanda was sitting at this table. They was at an event. I forget which one it was. And Wanda said something to Kimmy, and Kimmy was like, show me when I went on social media and said something about you. Show me, Wanda. And when, Kimmy was in Wanda's butt, and Wanda was like, well, you did. And she's like, show me. Wanda said, well, I heard you said this on social media. Kim was like, show me. I don't be on social media like that. Show me. And she right. Because honestly, in the early days of the show, Kimmy, and she wasn't on social media like that. Kimmy and Maurice, they didn't go on social media very rarely. Even Tisha and Marceau, they trying it now because they realize how much of a platform social media is. But they would do little interviews, but she didn't go on social media and talk bad about her at all. So in that part, in Wanda Greatest Hits, I think Wanda lost that battle. And then again, Wanda accused Kimmy of, throwing a rock and hiding her hand. She had a conversation with Letitia talking about some things Kimmy had said at apparently a party with, I think it might have been that Galentine's party, but they went on to talk about that particular scene. So the next scene they were talking about, I think it was the housewarming where I guess Jalen had the housewarming, and then Wanda came here and said, yeah, I heard all you bitches had something to say about Tisha at one of Melody's event. I believe it was the Galentine party. And Kimmy once again came in for Wanda. Jalen came in the back, ain't gonna be no bees up in here. And Kimmy like, who you calling a bee? What did we say? What are you talking about? And then Wanda went into her Wandaisms and, started saying, y'all had something to say about my daughter. Y'all should have said it to her. Y'all don't be having these events. You, Stormy, Melody had a whole bunch of stuff to say about Tisha. And it became a shouting match. And of course, Carlos is showing all the clips. And then Wanda, Kim shouting at her, "Tell me what you talking about." And then Melody and Stormy just kind of looking. Her and Courtney, they ain't saying nothing. It's talking about y'all bees got something to say. Y'all need to say it right here. I don't talk. She said, I don't deal with women who buy. I don't deal with bees who can't buy shoes from a box. I guess she mean if you buy your shoe off the shelf and not in the box, they ain't good shoes, whatever. Wanda got her Wandaisms and she says certain things. I just thought it was basically hilarious myself because Kimmy came for her again. Jalen about, and I think that's the same one where she got put out the house because Wanda got put out of one of those houses, the housewarming. I think that was Jalen's. But at the end of the day, Wanda said there was a lot of misconceptions about her. She said she don't have a husband and a boyfriend. She considered her husband and her boyfriend are actually the same person. But she did say she would do it online dating if, she would try it and see what would happen. But Wanda, to me, did a really, really good interview. I've seen a lot of clips where it showed us why we like Wanda and why when Wanda came on the scene, she was that girl. We liked her. I'm like, oh my God, Wanda, this is so, she's funny. I enjoyed Tisha's mom. I like the way her and Marceau kept going back and forth. And that's where she should have kept it. And here's where Wanda went left to me. When they showed the scene back at Madani's relaunch, and Wanda and Melody were having their confrontation. And then she said, find your baby daddy, find your baby daddy. And she started cussing Melody out. That's where you lost me, Miss Wanda. And that's when the dark Wanda started. That's when the dark side came. That's when Wanda went over to the dark side. That's when Wanda started going on these blogs, calling Melanie bees and Martell this and that and the third. Calling her bees and hoes and she don't know who her daddy is. And this, that, and the third. Only because, according to you, Wanda, Melody went on Carlos' show and said that your baby daddy, Tisha's father, was DMing her. And she used it as a reason to talk about Melody's kids. She said, I didn't talk about her baby daddy. I didn't talk about her kids. So she went on your show and said Tisha's daddy, Wanda's baby daddy, be DMing me. And I'm like, Wanda, that is not even equivalent. You're talking about a 40-year-old woman's father DMing her. And I don't know what the messages was saying, have a good day or you look nice, whatever the case may be. You use that as a gateway to start talking about her baby daddy and her children. Tisha's 40. Her kids at the time were 8, 9, 10, 11, 1, 2. There's a big age gap there. Yes, that is her baby daddy and them her children, but she never said anything about Letitia. She said, Wanda's baby daddy be DMing me, which means that's Letitia's father, quote unquote. You went in after her children and you start talking about their hair and this and that. The two ain't equivalent. They're not equal. Tisha's a grown woman and her baby daddy have children, which is Martell's children. And you going to equivalent that as equal sparring back and forth? She talked about my baby daddy and his kids. I'm going to talk about her baby daddy. Tisha's a grown woman. These were little children. So yeah, you were wrong. And that's when you went to the dark side. And that's when people start liking you, stop liking you. And that's when they started talking shit about you and your daughter and your brother-in-law. That's when it went left. And that's when you caused Tisha a lot of fans to go after her. And people start hating on her. And then when they started hating on her and Marceau, then they came on TV and started going back on Melanie and the Melanie meters. That's where it went left, Wanda. And I'm sitting here listening to this interview and I'm thinking to myself, when is Carlos going to say something? When y'all going to admit that statement right there, that fight in Madani is the part where Wanda started going to the dark side. And then she started going to all these bloggers who didn't like Melody and the millimeters and started doing all these interviews. And then she started going live, talking crap in the cars. And till this day, you still do it. You know, not so much as bad as you used to do on Melody, but you still do it. You say little subliminal stuff. But while she was on the show these last couple seasons, you went in on her. Start befriending her enemies. I'm going to be friends with Ariana. I'm going to be friends with Stormy. Anybody that didn't like Mel, you going to be friends with. Any blogger that didn't like Melanie, you was going to be friends with. That's when the dark side happened. And it was like just something clicked in my head like, that's it. This when it all changed, because as I'm walking through, and again, I watched every season, every show. As I'm going through this, there was a point that I do remember I liked Wanda. She was cool. And that's when the dark, and then I noticed as we going through this interview and they showed that last scene, and then you said the reason you did that was because of what she said about Tisha's dad. It made sense. Everything started coming full circle, Miss Wanda. And that's when I started pulling back and saying, you know what, Miss Wanda, you hitting below the belt. Because she said that about your husband or boyfriend or your daughter's father. And he probably did DM her and say, you look nice. How you doing, Melody? He may not have been trying to hit on her. She may have just been saying it just to get under your skin, and she did. And you fell for it. And you know that girl don't want that old man. But what I did find interesting is you said you was 60 and Kimmy was about 5 years, 6 years younger than you, which would put her at 55 to the 54, 55-ish frame. Kimmy, you really too old to behave the way you behave. Y'all sitting up in there calling people, the millimeters, old, bitter women. Tisha 40, Destiny 40 something, and you 55. I find that amazing. Very amusing and also amazing, because as somewhere along the line, y'all don't consider yourself part of that group. Baby, you not 30. You not 25. You ain't one of these YNs. You ain't no city girl. You right over here with the Gen Xers. Tisha, y'all up there at the tail end of millennials and the beginning of Gen Xers, the tail end of the Gen Xers, and the front end of the millennials. Y'all ain't young spring chickens while you over there. You, Maurice, and Marceau, call them Melon and Destiny. We're old, bitter, angry women because they like Melody. Come on now. Thank you, Miss Wanda, for that information. I really appreciated everything you said on that podcast, because it kind of did open up some doors for me to understand where people are sitting at and how the hypocrisy comes out of their mouth. But overall, great interview. I appreciate it. I thought it was funny. I thought it gave some good memories of the show when the show wasn't so toxic. It gave good memories of you when you wasn't so toxic. Don't know what y'all going to be doing in the future. I see y'all trying to promote, which is great. Hopefully it'll come back with a bang. We don't know. I probably will watch 1 or 2 episodes, but I don't even know if I want to watch it no more. But I do wish everybody the best and the best of luck. And by the way, before I end, I noticed when I went on Instagram today, Tisha was on there doing a little something in Huntsville. Some kind of, I guess she was one of the vendors at an expo they're having there. And then apparently Stormy and Melody having a live on TikTok at the same day. Y'all still competing. And what did I say at the beginning of this video? There's enough people in this world to get your own fan base and group together. And instead of playing the crabs in a barrel game, just go out there and help each other. All y'all should be promoting each other. YouTube is a whole nother world. It really is. And it's just YouTube is a whole nother world. You guys competing against each other is a whole nother. Stop the competition. You should only be in competition with yourself. I don't like it. I'm just one person. And I know some people out there feel the same way I do. Y'all should really be supporting each other. Try to just, as I always say, just be kind. That's all we have to do. Be kind. And you will see so many things start falling your way once you're kind to each other. Practice just a little bit of kindness. Tisha, I hope your event goes well. I hope Melody's goes well. And I also hope Stormy goes well. I'm probably going to go on TikTok and look at some of the stuff that y'all got going on. All right. And with that being said, this is Gen X Nation. Great interview with Miss Wanda. I'm still on the fence with Miss Wanda because she do some shady shit. I ain't gonna sit here and act like she don't. And when she does, I call her behind out for it on that too. But the interview was good, and it did give me some insight to look at some of the previous shows and see why we became to know Miss Wanda, how we started liking Miss Wanda, and how things turned left for Miss Wanda. I guess this is a way of trying to bring her back to the show and make us like her again. She can come back. But I ain't gonna never forget what she said in front of Madani, and all the interviews she's done after that, and how she talked all that trash and disrespected people. So trying to go around here doing this press tour and, as they say, cleaning up the mess that she created to make us embrace her again because you want to put her back on the show, it may work. But we don't have, we do have, most of us have memory. We gonna remember how Miss Wanda behaved. So y'all give her a second chance. I don't know. Maybe y'all will. I don't hate her or anything like that, but I think it's going to be hard for her to get back in the good graces of the people who watch the show because she's done a lot of damage. And now she's on this cleanup tour. Carlos got her trying to clean up her act, trying to make her look a little different, interviewing her, laughing with her. We enjoy that person I enjoy the person I seen sitting in that chair. But I think it's a whole nother person shows up when the cameras start rolling. And that is the problem. Wanda was great initially until she got notoriety and a little bit of fame. And that's what I said. Some people ain't cut out for the limelight. Once the notoriety kept picked up, she started getting that little bit of fame. She's changed. Her whole personality on the show changed. She became a different person. It's same thing going on with Nell Fletcher, but that's a whole nother ball game. When Nell first got on the show, we loved the Fletchers, the way their dynamics was. We seen a lot going on in the family that could have been great for the show, but it seemed like Nell started letting that little bit of fame and a little bit of notoriety go to her head. And that's the same thing I seen happen to Wanda. As he went through that interview, I could see where the dark side started. You got a second chance, Wanda. Don't mess it up. And with that being said, this is Gen X Nation. I am out. I want you people to go out and have a great rest of your day. Don't let the things of the world get to you. You black YouTubers, come do better. Do better. And if you don't like a person, I always say people can't repeat what you don't say. Just don't say anything about them. I don't use people names on here. I see the fights that go on, but I ain't trying to get caught up in nobody else's mess, so my lips will always stay sealed. All right? You guys enjoy yourself, be safe, enjoy your families, love on them, hug on them, and you guys go out and have a great rest of your day. And this is Gen X Nation, and as always, peace, and I'm out.